Okay, looks like we are live. And let me come in here and take off the Accidental ArtMaker. There we are. All right. How is everybody doing on Inspire Your Heart with Art Day? Let me push this up here so I can say hi, everybody. Hi, it's me, Sharon. Hope you guys are doing great. It's Tuesday. It's also Inspire Your Heart with Art Day, which I have also declared Accidental ArtMaker Day because I can. I am I'm trying to do more lives this year. It's one of my 2023 let's see what happens if we do more lives question of the year. But I'm here back to working on my trunk. If you saw the other night, I'm getting some pieces here ready for the upcoming IOD release. So when the products show up here at my house, I can start putting them on some pieces to show you guys all the beautiful things that you can do with them. So welcome on a Tuesday night. I'm going to see. I've got a little comment up here. Let me see. Oh, it's Shannon. Hello, Shannon. How are you? Good to see you again. All right. I'm going to go ahead and get going here and point my camera down. So if you missed my other live, I'll give you a quick update. So I've got this trunk here. I've painted it. It was like an army green, banged up. It was pretty cool looking. My daughter found it on the side of the road nearby where we live. So it's another rescue piece of furniture. So I've painted it 2 colors. Petticoat pink is the pink that's underneath, and then on top is where did it go? I'm gonna mess up the name if I don't see it. Old 57 is this color on top. Now, the thing to know about these paints is that when you put top coat on our wax, it's not this light. It's actually will be a little bit darker. And sometimes if you want to, you can kind of do a little test. I'm gonna do a little test right here. You can kind of see where I wet it. It's not really showing up too well over here for me. Maybe it is for you guys. But this will be a little bit darker. I'm gonna take this off because tonight I'm coming back in and I am using DIY Bohemian Blue. It's this really pretty blue color. It's a really popular one. And I'm going to use my favorite stamp. I have so many favorite stamps, but Bohemia stamp is one of my favorites. And don't be jealous. I've got 2 stamps here. I can do that because I'm an IOD stockist. Actually, couldn't find this. I was giving a class and I couldn't find this anywhere, so I just pulled one off the shelf and used that. That's why I actually have 2. But I thought now that I have 2, I can stamp maybe a little bit faster and use the Bohemian stamp at the same time if I'm doing something like I'm planning to do tonight. So tonight what I'm planning to do is I'm going to do this top area right here, and I'm going to stamp all the way across it. I'll be blocking out a lot of the 2 colors I've already done, but what I want is kind of like what you see right here. Let me bring the camera in a little bit. But you can kind of see how the colors pop through. So it'll be dark on top and lighter underneath the bottom. So that's what I'm curious to try right here tonight. So bear with me. If you're watching on the replay, let me know where you're watching from and say hey. It's a Tuesday night as I'm filming this, and I'm diving right in because I know I love this one right here, but I also know that on the top part, I think I want, and if you've used Bohemia stamp before, let me know. When you start using these stamps, let me put this up a little bit so you guys can see my head and shoulders. When you first get a stamp, you're supposed to sand it, which I've done already here. When you take it off, it feels like it is a job to take it off. So you will not break or tear your stamp but it is a tough thing to do. It feels like you're going to break it. So, hey, Amanda, welcome to Inspire Your Heart with Art Day evening with me, Sharon, your favorite IOD stalkist. Okay, so what I want to do here is I'm figuring out what kind of patterns I want going down my my trunk top here. And I know that I want this on the border, and I think I want, I don't know about that one. Amanda always has great ideas, so if I start flailing, I'll ask her to help me. Yeah. Amanda is a neighbor of mine, and I think you discovered me online and then realized that I was from Camas, just like you are. All right, so I think I want something kind of small in here to separate this. So I know this is kind of hard for you guys to see, but I'm laying stamps down here on top. I'm trying to figure out what kind of pattern I want on it. Let me bring the camera in a little bit closer so you guys can see. Yeah, I like that. And then I think for this down here, excuse me 1 second, I'm going to tear this one off. Okay. I don't know about that. This could go. So the way I'm looking at this is we've got, as you know, 2 new transfers coming in from IOD, and they're coming in. We still don't have a confirmed date yet, but I've got 2 new transfers, and one of them I want to use on this trunk. And my plan, and if you've used IOD transfers before, they're 12 by 16. So 2 of them should fit perfectly on the top of this trunk. And so I need to orientate it. There's there can be a top and bottom to these transfers. And I don't want to give too much away, of course. But what I need to do is figure out if this is my bottom and this is my top. And I'm going with this dark blue color. Do I want any kind of gradation in color? Do I want kind of like a similar pattern? So it's more like the composition is the color is evenly distributed. So one bottom part of the top part isn't feeling heavier than the other. So that's what's going through my mind right now. So I'm trying to figure this out right here. So, and there is Butterfly Beads by Anne. Hello, how are you today? Thanks for joining us on Inspire Your Heart with Art Day, or evening as it is now. So yeah, I've got the Bohemian stamp here, and I think for now, I'm going to go with this setup that I have right here. Let me show you guys. So I've got this. It's a new. Haven't used this stamp yet. I've only used one part of it. So I got this one. I'm gonna go along the trim here, and then this. And I might reuse this. I might do something like this, and then have this be on this side here too. And then I could do that on this side like this. I think that's what I'm going to do. We'll start that way, and we'll see what happens. How does that sound? Okay. Hope it sounds good. All right. And as I also mentioned, I've got 2 sets of the Bohemian stamp here because I was able to do that. In a moment of panic, I opened up the Bohemian here so that I could use it for a class. And right now I'm just setting these back in down here because if I don't, I will lose them, and I don't want to lose them. So somewhere in here, see, I've already lost one. This always happens to me. Oh, here it is. Inspire Your Heart with Art Day. If you can maintain your sanity. All right, so I got this. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up. Let me pull this a little bit closer so you guys can see it. There we go. Okay, so that's a great shot of the top here. So this is what your stamps will look like if you use them 20 million times. This one, Kindest Regards, is another favorite stamp of mine. And like for backgrounds, like what I'm doing here. And those are my favorite two go-tos. Okay. All right. So yeah. So your stamps get loved. That's what they look like. And now I've got what I'm planning on doing is seeing if I haven't done this before. So I'm going to be stamping with 4 stamps for Bohemia at the same time. All right. And then this. So what I'm doing here is with the Bohemia stamp, you can kind of have this little continuous flow going, which is what I want. So I'm going to put this here. But what I'm realizing is that it overlaps a little bit here. So I'm not going to be able to do my efficient stamping the way I was picturing it. I can with this up here on top. And then down here on the bottom, I really just need to use one. So I'm going to take this one out of the picture. And then if you've used stamps before, then you'll know what this is. This is a thin mount. So it's just this thin piece of plastic that you mount your stamps on. This is a way to do stamping. And the other option is by hand. And I might do this one right here by hand. I'm not sure. But to start with, I want to make sure that I've got my stamp in the right place where I want it here. And now, so this is another thing where I've got these 2 stamps right here side by side. I really do want them to connect across the top. So it's looking like my brilliant idea of stamping stamping is not going to work, but that's totally fine. That's what happens. It's fun to use your brain to see what you're able to make efficient. I'm a project manager by day, so I do like to find efficiencies in things, but that's just not going to happen today. All right, so I'm laying my thin mount down on top of this stamp, and I'm pressing it down, and when I pick it up, the stamp has stuck to the thin mount. So I've got this ready to go. This is my paint I'm using right here. I'm going to pour it on a paper plate. And I've got these cheap little rollers from Michael's right here. You can use the brayer from IOD, but I always get too much paint on the brayer, and then it's just a big loopy mess. I'm better with a sponge. So one of those things that I figured out right there. Butterfly, ding, catch the replay. Good night. Okay, it's early here on Pacific time. It's 5 o'clock. I'm not sure where she's based out of. I will ask her that. All right, so now I've got my paint here. It's this beautiful color called Bohemia Blue. And I'm pouring it on my plate. And I'm just going to scoop up a little bit here. I'm being a little bit daring doing this right on top of my painted surface. If I was doing like a big piece of furniture, probably wouldn't do that because I want to be in a little bit more control. But since this is a steam trunk and I'm the future plans I have for it kind of let me be a little bit, play a bit more loose with it. So I roll my foam brayer through the paint. And I just try and offload a little bit here. I don't need a ton. A little bit goes a long way. And then here's my stamp. And I just gently roll this across my stamp like that. And I tuck this out of the way and I flip my thin mount over. And The thin mount has grids on it, and I laid my stamp out on the grid, and I'm actually going to go a little bit over here because I want it to go off the sides. And I'm pressing down. I'm holding with one hand is the proper way, pressing down with the other. And now I'm going to hold with this hand and press down here like that. And give me 1 second here because I want to start up this other camera to make a reel with. Let's see here. Give me 1 second. I know you guys are anxiously waiting to see what's going to happen. Well, here we go. Voila! And that looks very pretty. And now I come back in and I'm going to do this all the way across. You can see here where I got paint on the thin mount. You have a couple of options there. You can use a baby wipe or paper towel to wipe it up if you want to stay on the cleaner side of things. And I'll flip this over. I want these two to connect. So I'm eyeballing that. And then I'm going to hold here, press here. Pull up. Now there's a little bit of a disconnect there. I might go back when I'm done and just fill it in with a little paint right there, or I might not. It might just be okay like that. We'll see how the rest of it turns out. So now I'm going to come back in here. A little bit of paint right here. A little bit of mess right there. Just wiping it up. Flip it over. Let's see if I can do a better job this time. Lay that down. Okay. Yeah, looks good. All right. Another thing of paint. Another little bit of a wipe here so it's not too messy. Make sure I have my stamp facing the right direction. And then you can see where it's going to go off a little bit there. That's fine. I'll lay it, whoops. Try not to move the stamp once you lay it down. So I'm holding it with one hand and pressing with the other. And there's our first row. I know there's a little bit of paint over here, so I'm just wiping it up. Now I'm going to put this aside. It's okay. It might get a little bit dry, but that's all right because I'm going to probably use it again. And next, I'm coming back in with this stamp right here. So you have lots of options here, right? I could do ink. I could do another color of paint. I don't have to make it look so solid. I could kind of like just stamp around just to kind of get some kind of looking pattern, but I really do want these bands of the dark blue here. Got a little bit of cat hair on my stamp. So I know I want this about right here, but I'm starting this way because there's this loop in here, if you guys can see it, right there. And I want this to continue when I do my next stamp down. I'll show you. You'll see what I mean in just a second. I'm not so good with words tonight. All right, so this goes down here. And then I'm going to get another thin mount. Let's see here. Another advantage of being a stockist. Lots of thin mounts here. Okay. And I'm laying it down right here. I need to remember not to press down up here because then I'll pick up some of that paint right there. I'll flip it over. Get my bohemian blue. All right. Flip it back over. So now this is what I'm going to be doing for like the next 45 minutes. So if you're catching this on a replay, If you want to stick around and listen to any funny jokes I make, feel free to do so, but also feel free to fast forward to the end and see what the end looks like. Oh, that looks so pretty. I love that. Okay. Awesome. Yeah, so this is kind of like stage 2 for me, is to stamp. I'm only going to stamp this one top surface with you guys tonight, but I'll finish stamping around the sides the rest of the week. And then I'm going to, my next fly with this will be painting a top coat on top of it, so you can kind of see that magical transformation. Okay, so here we go. I've got this stamp right here. I want to line it up pretty straight right here. That looks close. It's a little bit off. That's okay. And again, I'm not pressing up there. I'm just pressing my stamp. I'm holding down with this hand and I'm pressing here. Now I'm going to hold with this hand, just press the stamp right here. All right, ready? Pretty. What do you guys think? You like it? Yeah. Stamps are great. I love them. I think I started with IOD. The first time I ever tried using IOD was with stamps. Okay, so now I'm seeing something else I should have accounted for before. So let's see. Let's measure the two stamps side by side. Start here and end about here. And then I've got this much space over here on this end, so you see where it's going off. So what happens here is that part of my stamp will be hanging off, which is okay. It's not a big deal. But I want it to make it look like it's on purpose and not a mistake. So I'll be figuring that one out while I'm talking aloud here with you guys. All right, so we're going to ink this up. It's also one of those things that I know, but when this whole thing is done, it probably won't be that noticeable. So it might not be something to think about after all. All right, now we're going to flip this over right here. I moved it a little bit after I started setting it down, so it might be a little bit of a smudge. That's okay. All right. Hey, Shannon. Again, you sprinkled. I forget what that means. Did you share it? I always forget what sprinkled means. I got to get up to date on my Facebook terms. Okay, now I got this here. Let's see here. Shared. Thank you, Shannon. That's what I thought. All right, let's come in here. Now, as I said, I've got this kind of going off the side over here. I'm just going to put this up to protect my the metal part there. I'm going to put this here. Do not have steady hands tonight. Oops. Oh, darn it. All right, now you get to see what happens when you don't have steady hands and you kind of mess it up. Let's see here. It's really not going to be a big deal because of the transfer is going on top. Yeah. I'm just noticing something else here. Okay, here we go. All right. That looks pretty cool. I like that. All right. So next is going to be another stamp. And I was really enjoying, let's see, this small skinny one right here. Like this, like right up underneath it. Okay. So you can never have enough thin mounts. That's kind of fun. Okay, don't be shocked, but I did not clean this thin mount last time after I used it. So it's a wee bit messy. I'm gonna go on the side that's not so messy. I also cut up my thin mounts into smaller pieces. Have you guys done that too? Like when I'm working with word arts or something like this, I would use a smaller piece, but I don't know where my smaller pieces are right now. Okay, so I'm gonna put this right here. And then using my grid, that's pretty close. Flip it over. Add some paint. Come right up underneath that stamp. Because I kind of want it close like the one above it is. This one up here. Pretty. All right. We're going to keep going with that. Does anybody have any questions or helpful tips for stamps that I should share or that they want to share? Just put it in the comments and I'll share that. Okay, laying this down right here. Voila. Keep going. This is going to be, yep, look good. And then let's get this last little piece right here. I only need a little bit with some paint on it. Yeah, looks good. All right, so now I got to pick out my next stamp. Do I want to repeat the flowers or do I want to do another stamp from Bohemia? So I got like these right here. Kind of like the idea of this one being up on the top here. Oh, and I have the arrows. Let's get the little arrows. Oh, let's use little arrows. So arrows, it has some arrows here. Okay, I think that's what I'm gonna do. See, I like it like that. So look with these arrows. So I had the arrows, they're directional, they're pointing this way. Let me show it here to you guys. Like this. And so you can do your arrows like just stamp on down like this, or you can do it, stamp it like this and then flip it around so like they're pointing at each other. You can stagger them. There's all kinds of things you can do with your arrows. Gosh, you know, now that I'm talking about it, it could be really cool to do that for this upper half of the background for the transfer. Shannon saying, I pour clear resin in some of my stamps and make castings like the large block letters and the branches from another stamp. That is really great. Someone was trying to describe that to me in an email and I could not follow what they were saying. So you make castings out of resin and then do you put clay in that so that you have clay shaped letters, Shannon, or are you using it for some other purpose? Would be great to get an explanation on that. Okay, other option. Okay, I think I'm gonna do arrows here. Yeah, so I'm just gonna do arrows here. So I'm not gonna be using these other two, so I'm taking this transfer off and it's going to be sitting for a little bit before I'm able to wash it. So I've got baby wipes and I'm just going to give it a quick baby wipe right here like this. Nope, they are resin letters and branches. Basically, instead of dry, got it. So you're using a stamp to make resin casts that you use in your art. Got it. Love it. I haven't tried that yet. I'll add that to my bucket list this year. Okay, so now I've done a pretty good, decent job of cleaning this, and I'm just going to leave it wrapped up in my baby wipe. And did you guys grow up with something like this when you guys were little? It's like the barf bucket. Or your foot soaking bucket. So anyways, I'm just tossing it in here for now. So it won't work in all stamps though. Yeah, I'm guessing it's the ones that has some depth to it. Yeah. Okay. And yep to the barf bowl. Okay, so let's move on to this. I've got, I'm going to be doing, this one. So here's a really good example where I could probably get away with using 2 stamps. Let me pull this other stamp up here. Okay, so this is what I'm talking about. So I got my 2 stamps and I lay them down here like this. Okay, so I know, I'm just kind of want to get an idea in my head. With these 2 stamps face to face like this, if that's going to work. So I got my 2 stamps down to touch this. I know that this stamp ends about here. Whoops. Where'd you go, stamp? This stamp probably needs some like rubbing alcohol on it. Okay, so these are my 2 stamps and I want to do, so what's probably going to happen, what I probably am going to do is I'm going to find out, I'm going to kind of just guess the center of this piece right here. Because I'm very scientific with my measurements. I don't have a ruling measure tape down here, but what I can do is use my stamp. So that's equal there, here, and then this, just budge it down just a little bit. Do you guys see what I'm doing? So I'm trying to figure out where's the center of this top, and I'm using, well, Sharon. Okay, let's do this. I'm making this bright blue line my center line, which will hopefully be the center of the trunk top. And I know this comes in about, I'll remember this for next time to bring that'll work. I'll remember next time to bring a measuring tape with me. Okay, so this is my center. I'm going to have the arrows pointing in like this. Or is that 2 directional? Maybe that's 2 directional. Okay. I flip it around like this. Okay. That's going to be a troublemaker stamp right there. All right. Plan D. Okay. Sorry, guys. I'm just kind of thinking in my head, which is, let's see. I can go here. I'm just going to have the arrows going across. I'm going to have a little bit offsetting so that you don't see the tail ends of it here. Okay, does that make sense? Yeah, all right. Use the latch on the other side to find the center. Oh, you're so smart, Amanda. Gosh, right there. I was there. I was at the spot. All right. My excuse is I've been working all day. It's been a long day. At my day job. All good though. All right, so now I got my paint. It's dried up a little bit. So what I can do is take my spray bottle. I'm just going to moisten it a little bit. The DIY paint dries really fast. This will probably make the arrows look a little bit different from the other stamps, but I'm okay with that. Might have to add some more paint in here. These lies, I'm telling you, it's like, I feel like there's a stereo speaker stuck inside my brain and I have to talk every single thought that's coming through because I don't want to leave you guys out. All right, so I'm going to put this here, hold it down like this. Yeah, okay, that works. More paint. I'm going to probably have to pour some more paint in here. That's okay. And my mess. A little bit off. Okay. Yeah, it's a great idea. Okay. Got this. You can see where I moved a little bit there. I'm not going to worry about that because, again, I'm having transfers covering up a lot of this. Now I need a little bit more paint here. Just a bit. Here we go. I like to use my sponge to wipe up the paint along the sides so I don't waste anything. And I'm rolling my paint around. Holding breath. Oh, yeah. All right. And getting the stamp in. It's time for a new baby wipe. There's also this part of the stamp right here at the top. I got some paint and I want to clean that up too. Okay. Back here on this side. Flip it over. Okay. Going. Just so you guys know, I might have a teen walking in through the front door in a few minutes, and then that makes the dogs bark. You can hear the dogs at the top of the stairs just waiting for their moment. Okay. Line this up. Lie it down. Keep going. Just keep swimming. Just keep swimming. Does anybody know where that movie's? What movie that is from? I bet you do. All right. It's not black paint. It is Bohemian blue. So it's a super dark blue. Okay. Nemo is correct, Shannon. You win the prize tonight. Oops. Okay, there we go. There is no prize, Shannon. Sorry, I'm just joking about that. You do have my respect. All right, look at the mess I made there. That's okay because I can wipe it off. I have not used Bohemian Blue before, so I'm really curious to see what it looks like on top of these lighter colors. I think it's going to be super pretty. And I kind of like for the transfer I have in mind that you guys don't know about yet, I think it should work out really well. The other thing I was thinking about doing too is even doing some dry brushing with the Bohemian Blue on top of this, just to have patterns and colors popping through, but not so many specific shapes. I'm not sure. We'll see. It looks like it on the chest, but the plate, oh yeah, it looks black. When I put the top coat on it, I think you'll see the blue. Okay. Wrapping up on this, and then I've got one or maybe two more stamps to do here. Come on, Sharon. There. Okay. Got that. I do want to wipe this down a little bit before I put it in my bowl to clean later. All right. Yep, so I'm just wiping it down so I don't get too many chunky chunks in there. And then this paint is just going to dry. There's really no point. I should have had the bowl filled with some soapy water, but I didn't think that far in advance. All right, and now I've got this one last space right here. Which stamp should I use? Let's see here. I do really like this one, and I think it'll fit perfectly. Yeah, so I'm just going to do that. But I am going to use my new one. The other one was like threatening to fall off. Okay, so I'm going to use this stamp here. I'm going to stamp it across, and that'll be the show for tonight. So if you guys have any other last things you want to mention about stamps, like Shannon had that great one about casting resin with them. I bet Amanda would like to try that. Amanda's into molds. Okay. Got this. I'm going to take my paint. Ready. Yep, and if you're watching this on Facebook or YouTube, I would really appreciate it if you would subscribe, like, share, sprinkle, comment. If you're catching on the replay, let me know what you think. Like this year, I made it a goal to try and be on doing these videos more often, with hopefully the outcome of more people subscribing. But that depends on the quality of my effort here. Okay, so now I always get this one mixed up. This is another connect the dots one. What am I doing wrong? Let's see here. Okay, so I got it. Voila! Lay that down gently. Get my paint. Amanda, have you been doing art your whole life, or did you like pause, or did you just like between like your younger years and now, or has it been a constant for you? And Shannon, same question for you. Almost done here. Thanks for sticking in that with me tonight. And I also like to know, like, how I can do better here on these. Like, I'm just kind of winging it now, but like, if you guys have any suggestions or feedback, I am open to it. All right, let's see here. Last stamp. You guys ready? There we go. Okay, that is the top. Voila. I'll pull you guys in a little bit closer here. Yeah, it looks really pretty. Yeah. Different arts my whole life. Performing art, makeup, painting. Yeah. So you've always been creative. That's awesome. All right. Well, thanks so much again for hanging out with me tonight. I'm gonna let this top dry and figure out. I like it like this a lot. It's really pretty. If I had the transfer here with me, I would set it down on top to see what it looked like and decide what my next steps were, which would be to either commit the transfer to the top of this, or if I wanted to add some other kind of background effect, like what part of the stamps are peeping through the transfer and does that look okay? I'm kind of thinking I might go back over with some Bohemia Blue or even the water bottle and dilute the stamp effect a little bit here. So it's just kind of like a little bit melted is what I'm thinking. But I'm going to sleep on it before I decide to do anything like that. And the dog's on cue. They're saying goodbye to everybody. All right. Well, everybody have a great night. Thanks for joining me on Inspire Your Heart with Art Day. And I will talk to you all later. Look for my next live coming soon.